Hi friends, good evening. In this Azure Databricks Master Program, this is our 21st session. In this session, we will see how to create partitioned Parquet file in our Azure Databricks. So basically, we will see today how you can read the Parquet file, how you can write the data frame as a Parquet file, and how you can create the partitioned Parquet files. How you can create partitioned Parquet file. If you remember, we also created the partitioned CSV file. Okay, we have created the partitioned CSV file. So in the same way, today we are going to see how you can create the partitioned Parquet file. So once we create the partitioned Parquet file, how you can read a particular partition. So that particular thing also we are going to discuss in today's session. So in today's session, we will see with respect to read Parquet, we will read single Parquet file into a data frame. We will read multiple Parquet file into a data frame. Multiple Parquet files we will have in a folder. So we will read actually a directory. Once you read a directory means under a directory, whatever files you have, you can able to read all those things. Next, we are going to read partitioned Parquet file into a data frame. So we are going to partition the data. Once you partition the data, we are going to read one part of the file. That is nothing but one partition of the Parquet file into data frame. We will see these three things. When it comes to write Parquet, we will see how to write data frame as a Parquet file and how to write data frame as a partition Parquet file. Okay, how you can write partition Parquet files. Next, we will see the differences between CSV and Parquet. The differences between CSV and Parquet we will discuss. Let's see now. So how to read Parquet file into a data frame? This is the syntax. So we already know the syntax. If it is a CSV, we used to use spark.read.csv. As it is a Parquet, we are using spark.read.parquet. So this is one syntax. We also know another syntax. This is specific to Databricks syntax, right? So spark.read.format of Parquet, and I want to load like I want to read the file from this particular location. Okay, so this is the another syntax. Let's move on. Now we will see how to write data frame as a Parquet file. So this is the syntax. DF is nothing but a data frame. That data frame data I want to write in which mode? I am writing data in a append mode. Append mode means whatever data you have under output directory, okay, to that data, this new data it will add. It will add. Append means it will add the new data to the existing data in a directory. Okay, this is the one syntax. Another syntax we can see. This is the another syntax. In this syntax, you see df.write.mode is overwrite. Overwrite means whatever content you have under this directory that will be removed. That will be removed, and it will write only the new data which you have in a data frame. Okay. So this is the another syntax. Next, I want to create the partitions when I am writing the data. So I will create a partition like this. df.write.mode. And you have to say, so I want to, maybe here also you can say append or overwrite, depends on your requirement. Next partition by. So you want to divide the data based on what column? Okay, maybe you have some information such as a person. Okay, we have customers from India, customers from US, customers from UK. Then you need to, what you need to do is you need to partition data based on the location. So all the US people data will go into one file, all the India people data will go into another file. Something like that will happen when you say partition by location. Okay, so this particular part files, this particular partitioned files, do you want to maintain Parquet or CSV? So here I am saying my format should be a Parquet, meaning all the partition files will be a Parquet files. In which location it is going to create all these partition files? In this output directory. Under output directory, it will create a partitions. Under partitions, you will have a actual data. Okay, now as of now, any doubts, friends? So for reading and writing, we know this syntax already, but today we will execute for the Parquet files. As of yesterday, we have discussed for our CSV, but today we will focus on Parquet. Okay, fine. Now you see difference between CSV versus Parquet. So these are the differences. So CSV is not a columnar, but Parquet is a columnar storage, meaning how your data is going to store it in backend. That is meant by your, whether it's a columnar or row storage. Row storage means row by row it will store. If it is column, means column by column it will store. In next slide we have in detail about this columnar storage and row oriented storage. Don't worry. Next, compressible. Remember, if you look at the CSV file, you can able to read the CSV file, and CSV file is not a compressed. A CSV file is not a compressed file, friends. So as CSV is not compressed, it will look like a huge size. Okay, even though you have small data, it will look like a very huge size, right? But same data, if you convert into Parquet, at least 75% of the file size will reduce. Example, if you see a CSV file which has 100 MB, if you convert that CSV file which has 100 MB into a Parquet, in Parquet it will show only 20 to 25 MB. Okay, 20 to 25 MB it will show. Next, splittable. Splittable means why we need to split a file. I have one file, that file data I need to split. Why you need to split? Because cluster is nothing but a group of servers. We have a group of multiple people you have. So you need to divide this one file into a multiple parts, multiple splits you need to do. Okay, when you split this entire file into multiple parts, now one part you can give it to the one server. So this splittable nature you have for CSV and Parquet, both can able to split the files and process parallelly. Next, human readable. So CSV file is human readable. If you remember, so we were able to read the CSV files. Even if you look at any CSV file, you can able to read. But if it is Parquet, you cannot able to read. I will show you the Parquet files. You cannot able to read the file. But if you still want to understand what data you have in a Parquet, you need to use some online file viewers, or you have to use some other tools to view the data which you have in a Parquet files. Okay, next, default schema. It's a manual. If you remember, whenever we are reading CSV file, we used to say info schema equal to true, or we used to provide the custom like user defined schema, right? So everything is manual. Manually, we need to tell. So whether schema is, we need to infer the schema or not, or do you want to provide your schema? Okay, these all are manual, because by default CSV will not be able to identify this schema. That's why it's a manual. Manually we are going to say info schema equal to true, or we can say what else we are going to say. We are going to define the user defined schema. But when you comes to the Parquet, it's automatic. You don't need to say info schema and all those things. When you simply read it, it is going to identify these things with the data types. So even you don't need to set equal to true and all those things. It will identify automatically headers, and it will identify the data types automatically. Next, so you see the data size. Example, in CSV it is a 10 GB, in Parquet it will be a 2 GB or something. Okay, very huge reduction in terms of size. So when the size is reduced, you are going to use a less space. When you use less space, what happens? Ultimately you are going to make a less payment. Okay, next, use case. So CSV is best for writing the data. Parquet is best for reading the data. Why it is best for reading? Why CSV is best for writing? That I will discuss now. Okay, let's move on now. You can see what is meant by, 1 second. Okay, you see here what is meant by columnar storage, right? So let's imagine I have some courses information. Okay, course ID, course name, and course start date. Okay, now if it is a row oriented storage, data will store something like that, row by row. First row you will store here, then second row you will store here, then third row we will store it here. Okay, this is nothing but a row oriented storage. Let's move on to the columnar storage. Columnar storage means first it will store 1 2 3, next Azure Databricks ADF, next this date. See, first 1 2 3, next Azure Databricks ADF, next this date. It's a columnar storage. Column by column it is storing. Here it's storing row by row. Okay, so what is the advantage if you store it in a column wise is, when you want to access, let's say people are interested only on course name and when this course is starting, they don't require course ID, right? So in that case, what they are going to do, they are going to select these two columns. They want to see only these two columns, they will select these two columns. When they select these two columns, if it is a columnar storage, it will be easy for reading the data, because you see, so all these course names are adjacent, next to next. So it will be easy for our Spark to identify and give the result quickly. And even start dates are next to next. So it will be quicker for reading the data. Okay. Any doubts as of now?
Yeah, Malay, I have a question here. Suppose in column storage, we are having around 100 of column presence. So suppose I want to just actually retrieve the second column and 98 columns.
That
So in
is
that
absolute.
case, yes.
See, let's imagine. Okay, that is okay actually, because whether you are selecting second column and 99th column, that is okay. You can able to get the still performance, because your second column data is here and your 99th column data is also will be next to next. If you look at here in row oriented, let's imagine you just selected one column, that is customer course name. So when you select a course name, you see one value is here. Again, you need to search for where is the another course name. Again, you need to search for where is course name. So your here IO is going to increase, your input output operations will increase, because it is going to keep on searching. Okay, so here what happens, your course names are next to next, even if you have any other column, 99th column. So once you search it, all the values are next to next. You don't need to further, you don't need to check. Okay, clear, Devashish?
Malaya, in
Mono.
single column, let us take, we have like 10 lakh record, and then it will create the 10 lakh columns, right?
What, 10 lakh?
Let us take example, like in course name, we have like 10 lakh records.
Course name, okay, 10 records, okay.
Yeah, it will create 10 columns, right?
It's not a column, so this is how data will store. So it's not a column. Okay, data will store, so something like this. So columns wise, next to next, it will keep the values. So here, just to show you, I just taken something like this. So if I store something like this, doesn't mean that it is going to create 1,000 columns or something. So data will store in a disk, right? So when it is storing in a disk, it's not going to like push, it is not going to create some 1,000 columns, and it is not going to keep under that. So it will just fill the details next to next. So columnar storage means in disk, your values will be there next to next. First your first course name, next you will have next course name, next course name, like that it will be there. If you go with row oriented, first you will have a customer ID, then you will have one course name, then you will have a course start date. Next you will have again course ID, next you will have a course name, next course start date. So I'm just taking like this. Maybe you can just consider under this. Maybe you can consider here 3 columns, under that you can consider. Just to give you some idea, I'm just showing with the one row here. Okay.
Okay.
Netra, clear?
Yeah, I'm good, but small question, like how to convert CSV to Parquet? Like
that we will discuss.
Okay, yeah.
We can, that is very easy. Okay, we will discuss that. Devendra, you have any question? You only answer today. Okay. Later, whatever question we have for that, you only will answer at the end of today's session. Okay. So fine. Now these are the slides which I have, friends. Now we'll go and create our Azure Databricks. Come here. See, I am inside the portal. Let's go and check whether we have any resource groups. Okay, personal data iconology. This is okay. This I have created for my purpose. Okay, just click on Azure Databricks. Let's create a Azure Databricks. Click add to create Azure Databricks. So subscription. I'm going to use a free trial subscription. Resource group is, I can say Cloud Pandit, Databricks, Master Group. Okay, this is my resource group, and workspace name I can say Cloud Pandit. Okay, Cloud Pandit ADB workspace. I want to launch it in East US, so you can select. Why I'm selecting East US every time? Anybody have any question here, because I am under a free trial. So all your free trial subscription, so whenever you are using a free trial subscription, if you select region is East US, you will not have much issues. You can able to able to execute the script, everything properly. Because if you select East US2 or some other things, so example, under a free trial you will have some limits, right? In East US, suppose they are offering 12 cores. In East US2 they may offer only 4 cores, meaning most of the most of the things that you can consume from the East US, if you select the region is East US, you can consume most of the services. That's why we need to select East US. Next, pricing tab, we know standard and premium. Premium means role-based access control also will get it, but let me go with standard for now. I don't have my own virtual network, so I request Azure Databricks to launch a default virtual network, and in that it has to create it. Click tags, I am not doing anything for now, just click review plus create. So it is going to validate all these details, then click create. Okay, so meanwhile, until this Databricks workspace created, I will show you how we can read the Parquet file. So if you look at the differences between these two, right? Where is the differences? Here you can see human readable CSV is yes, but Parquet is no, right? Let's prove that. So go here, click on document, source data. You see something called Parquet. So you see, let's open this, edit with Notepad++. So are you able to read anything here? Okay, so I'm not able to read anything. So something, okay. But now what I wanted to do is I need to read that particular Parquet file. How you read is Parquet online reader or online viewer, something like that. You search it, then you will see a parquet-viewer-online.com. Just click on that and choose file, which file you want to read the data. So go to documents, source data, Parquet. Here I have a first file I am uploading, and I am not a robot. You just say I am not a robot, confirm it. Then so don't click submit. What I wanted to do this Parquet is, this Parquet I want to convert into CSV because I want to read this Parquet. That's why I'm converting into CSV and downloading. So now open this file. Okay. So this is the content we have here. This is the content we have here. Okay, first name, last name, email, all these things we have. So what I wanted to do now, I will just read this, I will read a Parquet file and I will check whether when I read Parquet and when I'm converted that Parquet into CSV, both are same or not. Okay, so I will read now Parquet file from Spark and we will see. So when I read that Parquet file, in that Parquet file whether we have same data or not. Okay, click on this, go to Azure Databricks. This Azure Databricks is still creating. Let's wait for a minute. Okay, but here you can see it's not like our CSV. The data type it is storing here itself. See at the column place itself, it is storing the data type. Okay, see string, country string. This is a date time offset. It's nothing but a timestamp. Int 32. It's nothing but an integer. It's a string. It's string. So it is storing the data types. So that's why when you read this Parquet, automatically it is going to give you the correct data types. Second one is you no need to explicitly say header equal to true. Automatically it identifies that first row is header and it will give you the header names. Okay, let's come back. See your Azure Databricks is ready now. Just click on go to resource. Launch workspace, it will launch. So meanwhile, I don't require this particular tab. Let me close this tab. Okay, let's see a Databricks I can sign. I'm signing in. Okay, so I'm here. So let's create a cluster. Just click on clusters, create cluster. So name of the cluster is Cloud Pandit Demo, and the cluster mode is high concurrency for parallel execution, standard for serial, single node for your practice purpose. Pool I'm not using. If you use pull, you can quickly start your cluster. Databricks runtime is nothing but core components that we are installing on this server. My server configuration is this, and I have a single node. That's why auto scaling option will not be enabled. Now this single server also, when it has to terminate, if I'm not submitting any job on this particular server for about 60 minutes, then my cluster should go to the terminate state. Just click create cluster. So cluster is going to create. Now click on workspace, click here, create. I want to create a folder. So my folder name is, I can say Cloud Pandit. Okay, inside this, let's create a notebook. Create notebook. This is basically partition. So I'm going to deal with partition Parquet file in Python. On this cluster I want to execute create. Okay, so you are here, but what I wanted to do is I want to maintain a few folders under our base folder. What is our base folder? Click on data, add data, dbfs, file store, tables. So you see you don't have any folders under file store / tables. So this is my base path. Just select the base path from here, and you can say dbutils.fs.ls. So if you want to list down the content which you have under base folder, what you need to use? You need to use something called ls command. Okay, ls command will list down the entire content which you have under tables directory. Now under tables directory, I want to create some folders. dbutils.fs.mkdirs. If you want to make a directory, you have to use a mkdirs. So here I will create some folders. What are those? File store / tables. So this is my base folder. In this folder, I will create under this tables folder, I will create a folder called input. Okay, or you can say single file. So okay, in this I will put a single file. Then I can say it's a multiple files. Okay, I will create a next folder called output. Okay, single file output I will write here. Multiple file output I will write here. I'm creating same. It's not possible. You have to say output single file, output multiple file. Okay, so these are the 4 folders. Along with that, I want to create one more folder that is basically a partition. Sorry, partitioned. You have to say partitioned files. So I will create the partitions. Okay, that partition files I will create where under this folder I will create the partition files. So once I create the partition files under this, so from this directory I need to identify which partition I need to read, and from this particular folder itself I should be able to read the part of the data. So that we will see. But let's see whether cluster is up or not. Click on this and select this cluster. Let's attach to this particular notebook. If you look at the cluster is already up. Let's list down the content. So under base folder, currently you don't have any content. Let's create all these 5 folders. See all those 5 folders created. Let's list down the content now. You see all those 5 folders created. So in respective folder, I will upload one file. Okay, just go to data, add data. Okay, just select multiple file. Let's go one by one. Single file. I will go to single file, save it. So in this single file, I will upload a single Parquet file. So this is our single Parquet file. Let's take this path. Go to notebook. Here, let me put here it as a single file path equal to this is the single file path. Okay, next. Click on data again, add data. Now select Okay, so I want to upload multiple files into this folder, multiple files. So this is the multiple files folder. In this, I will upload these three Parquet files. When I upload these three Parquet files, see the location, the path for these three folders. What is the same path for these three folders? Up to here, if you look at up to here, path for these three folders is same. So that's why you need to take up to here. Whatever you have a common path for all these files, you need to take up. It's nothing but you need to take the until directory. You need to take the path until directory. Take the path, come back. In another cell, you can say multi file path equal to here. I am just uploading. Okay, we need only these two because other things are like output single file, output multiple partition files. Into those folders, I am going to write the data. Okay, fine. So this is the path I have. I want to read a single file. Okay, how you can read single file? We know Spark is nothing but a Spark session. Okay, you know or you don't know? We know, right? We discussed that. But you can see here Spark is nothing but a Spark session. Okay, this is like the starting point for your Spark. So you know this. Now Spark dot read. I want to read which format file you want to read. Parquet file I want to read. So from which location? That path you need to give it here. And this I will assign to a Park df1 equal to Park df1 dot show. Okay, and execute it. So you see, so data is came, but the problem is it's not much readable because we have a lot of columns and some columns are showing here, some data came to the next line and all those things. So that's why instead of saying dot show, you can use another thing called display you can use for displaying the content from your data frame. So now it will be it will display properly and the readability also it will increase. See, registration underscore DTM, ID, first name, last name, email address. If you want to see more columns, you just have to drag this right side. Okay, you can see all these things. Okay, now you see here registration underscore DTM ID. Come to excellency, registration underscore DTM ID, first name, last name. Okay, correct, first name, last name, email, email. And if you want to compare one record, you can compare 2/3/2016. You can see 2016 2/3. This is 721 Shirley Williams. You can see one. Oh, that record may be there somewhere. See Amanda Jordan. Okay, 2/3 Amanda Jordan, A Jordan 0, female. You can see Amanda Jordan, A Jordan, female. Okay, see female. So all these details are correct. Okay, so data may be like ascending, descending, that's why it may not show properly. But if you arrange this data properly, it will show exactly same. So let's see now how many records in this particular CSV file. How many records here? Can you see? There will be total 1000 records. Why it is showing 1000 not 1? Anybody can guess it and tell me. I am saying there are 1000 records, but it is showing number 1000 not 1. Can you tell me why? Anybody can guess it?
Header.
Very good. So your first row is header. You can see here your first row is header. That's why you need to ignore that. Now let's see when I read this data whether I am getting exactly 1000 records or not. I will check dot count. If you ask, it is going to give you the number of records 1000. And next what I wanted to do is I want to first let it be count, and I want to understand the schema. Print schema, you can say print schema and execute it. So it will give you the data type. You see timestamp, integer, string, remaining columns are string. Here you see salary is double. It's a timestamp, integer. Okay, all these data types also it is giving properly. Now I want to receive only column names. How you receive only column names? You just have to say columns or Parquet df1.columns. If you ask, it will be only column names. You see, registration DTM, ID, first name, last name, email. So registration underscore DTM, ID, first name, last name, email, all those things we are able to see. Next, I want to understand. I want to take a columns and the respect to data types. So we have to say D types for that. We need to use something like D types for that. See column name and the data type. Column name and the data type. Column name and the data type. Okay, all these things we have. Now, next thing what I wanted to do is, okay, I'm able to read the data. Okay, by using this syntax. Same file, I want to read it by using another syntax. What is the another syntax? We know, right? For df2, this is df2 spark dot read dot. Instead of directly saying parquet, you have to say format is parquet, and I want to load the file from this location. This is the another syntax. Executed. So as you've seen, show will not display properly. You need to use a display for this. Executed. See, you are able to see again Amanda and Jordan, same record. Okay, if you want to see, you can see Amanda, Jordan. Okay, female, you can see female. All these details are correct. Now let's check only one thing, that is the count is same or not. I will check. Execute. How many records it's a? This is 1000 records, same. Okay, meaning by using this syntax or by using this syntax, I'm able to read the data properly. Okay, let's clear the results. Okay, see, these are the two syntaxes. This is our first syntax. This is the second syntax which we have read. But in these two syntaxes, we have seen results are same. Okay, clear? So this is how you need to read a single file. We finished reading this single file. Now I will go and show you how you can read a multiple files. How you can read a multiple files. Okay, come down. So this is the path for reading the multiple files. So how many files we have under this folder? Can somebody tell me how many files we have uploaded under this folder?
3.
Very good. So there are 3 folders, 3 files we have under this directory. Remember, each file is consisting of 1000 records. So now when I read this particular directory, how many records I should have? 3000. Remember, okay. So I can say for df3 equal to spark dot read dot parquet. I will use first syntax for reading multiple files. So take this multiple file part, and we know, right? Let's try to, instead of displaying the data, let's check the count. Okay, execute it now. How many records it is saying? 3000. Okay, clear. So whatever we expected, it is clear. Now let's comment this, and you can say for df3, so I want to display this data. Yes, you can able to display data. See, fetching result, you can see all these records are here. So up to 1000 records it will display by default. So if you want more results, you have to say here, you see download full results, max 1 million rows. If you want, you have to click this. By default, it will show you 1000 rows. Okay, when you say display of DF, by default it will show 1000 rows. If you want full records, you have to click on this. Download full results, maximum 1 million records. 1 million records. Okay, clear? Now we have seen, even though it is showing 3000 records, when we have asked df parquet this df dot count, so it is giving 3000. So meaning it has a 3000 records. Okay. Now I will try to read this particular multiple files by using second syntax. How to read that? Put this. You can say here spark dot read dot format. I need to use format here. It's a parquet format. I want to load data. I want to load data from, like, you need to use this particular variable. Okay, this is Parquet df4. Parquet df4 dot count. Let's take how many records we have. How many records we have? There are total, you see, there are 3000 records. If you want to display, you just say display of Parquet df4. Execute it, you will be able to see the top 1000 records, and remaining records still will be available. Okay, so in this case, let me download so that you can able to see that. Download full results. If you want to download full results, you have to re-execute the same command. So it is executing and it will download the file automatically. If you open this file, you will see there will be total 3000 records. All 3000 records it will show you. It will open in Excel. Not this one, it is that particular file is still opening. Let's wait for some time.
So Malay, I have one doubt here.
Tell me.
Like by default, it's showing top 1000 rows, right? I want to display like 2000 to 3000. Like, can I display like that?
No, you cannot display. That's why I'm saying here.
No,
We
no,
have
no.
a
Like so my doubt is like I want to display only 1000 records, but that is from 2000 to 3000.
Okay, you want to display. Yeah, in that case, you need to put some kind of a filter here. Okay, you just here, if you look at the ID, right? We have some
Yeah.
ID. In that case, what you need to do, you can simply say here filter. Let me show you that filter. ID is greater than 1000. ID greater than 1000. These results I want to display. Let's display now. Yeah, call is a function. Let me import that from Pyspark.sql.function. Import call and execute it. Hey, it is not giving results. Let me check this. Okay, 0, because that ID doesn't have a value greater than 1000, I guess. Okay, that is the reason why we are not getting it. So now what you can do, let's check it manually when we display. Otherwise we can check because we downloaded those 3000 records, right? So from that 3000 records we can verify where is the downloaded file. Go to downloads, that will be there here. We exported, okay, just now. So this is the file we exported. In this we should have a total 3000. See, 3001 means because we have a header, but I am focusing on ID column. Where is that ID column?
The
See,
same
this is
ID
the
is
ID.
repeating.
Yeah, same ID is repeating, but there is no ID greater than 1000. Okay, that's why we are getting 0, right? But in this case, what you can do is, because if we spend here, we may miss it. But what you can, we are going to discuss, there is a function called window function. Based on that, you can able to generate all these things. Like you need to generate something row number. So once you generate a row number from there, you can able to filter out. Okay. So those are transformation. Okay, don't go. Okay, so now this is the data frame I want to display of. So it will fetching results. So you have seen, right? So if you want more than like all the records up to 1 million, you can able to export. I have exported. I am able to see all those 3000 records. Okay, now let me just show you one more time the number of records. This should be 3000. Okay, this is fine. Now we have seen by using the two syntaxes. Let me clear the results so that you have clarity on the code. So these are the two syntaxes for reading the multiple files. So these are the two syntaxes for reading a single file. Now I will focus on before you read the part file. Okay, partitioned data. Before you read the partition data, we need to create the partitions. So before you create the partition, let's see how you can write a data frame to a directory. The data frame as a Parquet file. So let's focus on this particular data frame. Okay, part df4, this data I want to write. So first syntax I will use, I want to write as a Parquet. That's all. So before this, after write, you also can mention a something called mode. Mode means you want to append or overwrite. Let's see, I can say it's a overwrite. Okay. So in which location I want to save this? We have, if you remember, output single Parquet. So this is the folder we have created. Oh shit, I need to get the path, right? How to get the path? If you remember, here only we have paths. Output page being reference. Let's see here. Dabashish, please go mute. Okay, fine. You see, this is the data frame I'm writing. Mode is overwrite. Overwrite means existing data it will remove and it will add the new data. And where I am writing this data is under this folder, because when you are writing data in Spark, you cannot mention the file name. What is the reason behind that? Is you are going to deal with a big data. Big data means you are going to deal with huge amount of data. So it's not recommended to keep huge amount of data in a single file. So that's why you need to create a multiple files. When you are creating multiple files, how you can give a single file name here? That's why we cannot provide a single file name. Okay, let's execute this now. So this is the data frame. In this data frame, how many records we have? Can somebody tell me, friends, how many records we have here in this data frame? Tell me how many records we have in this data frame. 3000, friends. So we read all these three files and we have taken the count also. In this data frame, we have 3000 records. Those 3000 records I am overwriting into this particular folder. Okay. So now if you read this particular folder and check how many records we have, you will be able to understand. Let's quickly read it and check. Parquet dot count. See 3000. Okay. Now instead of overwrite, let's say I will put append and run it. Append means 3000 we have, again 3000 you add it. Now you check the count, 6000. Now I will overwrite. Can you tell me how many records I will have? Now I executed overwrite script. Now how many records I will get when I execute this? Tell me, friends. If you understood the difference between overwrite and append, you should be able to answer. Somebody, Devendra, Netra, Manohar, Devashish. Okay, very good. So, 3000. Okay, there will be only 3000 because all 6000 it will remove and it will write only new records. New records are 3000 records. Those 3000 records it will overwrite. Okay, this you understand. Now I want to write my data into another folder. Okay, another folder by using a second syntax. That is, let's write data into this folder.
Maria, I think this directly we can write it to CSV also, right? Parquet.
That's what I said, right? So end of the session, you only will answer.
Yeah.
Okay, you only answer now.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
Parquet df4, I am writing dot format. I want to say format. Format is Parquet. Dot, I want to save. So in which location you want to save this data? So this file is having, let's say this, I will say 1. So this file is having how many records? 1000 records. So if I say df3, how many records we have in this data frame? We have 3000. So let me take these 3000 records and these 3000 records I want to write it as a Parquet in overwrite mode, in which path I am trying to write into this path. Okay, so before I write data into this path, I will just check whether I have any content in this file path or not. db util start fs.ls. Let's check this. Okay, just execute it and see you don't have any content in this output. Output multiple files folder. Just execute it now. Okay, now I have written. Let's see the content. What content we have? There will be 4 files you will have in it. Okay, there will be total 4 files you will have in it. Yeah, sorry. So why it has created total 6, I will tell you. See, remember, whatever you see something called part files here. Okay, these are the actual files which will have a data. Okay, these are the 3 files which we will have a data. These are the 3 part files which will have data. Remaining started, say, just for transaction. So transaction, when this particular execution started, the transaction information. Underscore success means, so this particular transaction is successful. Next, committed, what happens is, in this committed file you will have all the part files which it has created. How many part files it has created? These 3 part files it has created. So when you read this particular file, you will see that information. What information you will have is, you will have a how many part files it has created. How to read this file? Header. We discussed all these things. Okay, it's great. Now you see those 3 file names. See, added. Which files added? This is the first file. This is second file it added. This is third file it added. Any file it removed? No, it has not removed any file. Okay, next. If you try to read this started and all these things, you will not have any data in that. Please be in mute. Somebody. Spirit now. You see, you don't have any content. These are simple transaction files. Okay. So if you take DBF, this success file, you will not have any content in these files. So you don't have any content. Clear? Everything is clear now. Now I will read this particular file. In this particular path, I will read and check how many records we have. I will check spark.read.parquet, and from this location, I want to say the count. How many records we will have now? 3000. Because this particular data frame has 3000, those 3000 records we will have. Next, I will go to the append mode. Okay, now already 3000 available. Again, I am adding 3000, total 6000. Again, I will execute one more time. 6000 plus 3000, 9000. Let's check whether we have a 9000 records or not here. See, there are total 9000 records available here. Okay, clear? Clear, or any doubts, friends, as of now? Okay, Manohar is clear. So now we have seen most of things. Now we will see how to create the partitioned. Okay, how we can create the partition data. Before that, you go and get the path where we are going to write the partitioned data. So in this folder, I want to write my partitioned data. So, so this is my path. Okay, this is my path in which I want to write my partitioned data. So, but based on what you want to create the partitions, for that we need to analyze the data. Come here, and you see we have male and female. Okay, so what I want to do is, I want to keep all male people data in one partition, all female data in another partition. Wherever gender information is not available, that data I want to put it in another partition. So now you need to say this gender column is going to be your partitioned column. I will use a gender column as partition column. Let's come back here. Okay, so how to write the data is, let's say I have a data called for df 3 or 4. 3 or 4 both is having 3000 records. So on this, I'm going to say I want to write this data. In which mode you want to write? I want to write it in overwrite mode. Okay, but you can go with like append mode as well. Next mode is overwrite. Here you have to say partition by. So I want to differentiate data. I want to divide based on the gender column. You just have to provide gender. Gender is the column name. Dot. I want to like write in which format you want to write this data. You want to write data in a Parquet format. Dot. I want to save this data where you want to save, in which location. This is the path. Okay, so this is the path. Let's execute it. Before you execute, can you check, do you have any data in this particular path? Do you have any content in this particular path? Does not ls. Let's check this and execute it. See, ls, you don't have anything. Let me execute this. Okay, execute it. Now list down the content. You see total, it will create multiple folders. One is see here, gender equal to female folder, it's created. Gender equal to male, because based on partition, all female data will be there in this folder, all male data will be there in this folder. And the Hive default partition, here we will have a null values, null value records. Sorry. Okay, null value records we'll have in this Hive default partition. Okay, now we'll go we will read partition data. How to read partition data? Let's say I will read this particular partition data. This is your female data. This is one partition. One part of the data is your female data. I will read spark.read Parquet. So just to provide your female data, here you can say female df and female df dot count. Let's take count how many records we have. Okay, so let's note down here the number of records here you have is approximately 1442. Okay, let me comment this. Next, I want to display data and check whether all female data only available here or not. Female or female camera, female unit type, female df. So it will fetch data, don't worry, fetching results. It will display all the data. You see here, so why you are not able to see that particular column? Because it's a partition column, that's why you will not be able to see. But you see Amanda and Jordan. So whether female or not? Yes, Amanda Jordan is female. Next female is Morgan. Evelyn Morgan is female. Next, see Evelyn Morgan is next female. Next, come here and check. Next female is Denise Relay. Denise Relay is, see here, Denise and Relay is next female. Okay, so we understood we have a female details correctly. Now let's take this. This is only male details. So I want to read the male details. So now you can say male path equal to, or you can directly hard code the path. Okay, this one I can say male path, male df. Okay. So male df dot count. Let's take how many records we have here. So 1371. Let's put here 1371. Let me comment this. Now let's display data and check male df and execute it. So here you can see Donald Lewis. So whether he is a male or not, you see. Where is Donald? Let's search for his name. How to search? Let me quickly search for Donald. Okay, here's the name, right? Uncheck everything, check only Donald. See Donald. What is this name? Like his last name? Donald Lewis. Come here and check Lewis. Here you see is a male. Actually, all this with the donor name, everybody is a male, you can see here. Okay, but basically you see there are null values, some null values you have to focus on. Leave is he is a male. Okay, but there are some unknown values. Those things we will see now. Basically 1379 we have males, so you can verify those things here itself. So you just uncheck this. Let's come to gender and let's filter only female details. We can filter and check how many records we have. Okay, you see 1442. So 1442 of 3000 records. You see whether you received correct number or not. 1442 is correct number. Next, come here. You say male count now. Male count is 1371. You check here. 1371 came or not. 1371 is correct. So all remaining values will be there in this particular default folder. Where is that? See here. Let's try to read this as well so that we will have a full clarity. Okay. Now this is basically null df. You can say null df dot count. See 187. Let's check null values are 187 or not. The null values are 187 of 3000. Okay, let's filter out and check only one record. Display of one record. Okay, see here registration DTM ID, first name, last name, email address, all these things. But let's focus on Carlos Burns, whether its details are not available or not. We will check. See Carlos Burns. So there is no information with respect to gender. That's why it is there in a none. It is there in a other category, default partition. In default partition, this value is available. Okay, clear? So now we learn how to create the partition Parquet files, how you can read these partition Parquet files. So now you are not getting this female column, gender column here. Okay, when you are reading the partitions data, you will not get that partition column. Suppose you want to get the partition column, then you just have to use till here. Okay, till the root folder you need to take and you need to read the data. So now you will get a gender column along with all the partitions. So let's say if I read up to here, so instead of saying gender equal to female, male, instead of mentioning the partition folder name, if I mention till here, you can see the count here. Count I will get total 3000 because you are going to read all the records. Yeah, some syntax issue. Okay, just read it now. You see, you will be able to read total 3000 records will be available. And when I display this data, let's see. Let's see, you will have a that gender column as well. See now gender column. Where is gender column? Gender column will be there. Don't worry. That should be there. Let's execute once again. See, gender column is there at the end. Okay, that should be there. That's all. See, gender column went to the at the last. So female we have, female information we have, and male details also we have. But why it is showing only female? Because it's a showing the first 1000 records. But if you can able to download everything, re-execute and download everything, you will see male, female, all those records, 3000 records will be there in this list. Let me just open this. exported file. So this is the file which we download. So now you see gender column is there at the end. If you go down, you see male information we have and all null values. First it read the female partition, then it read male partition, then it is reading the null partition data. So when you read a data until the root folder, you will see this partition data as well. Okay. Many questions? No questions. That's all for today, friends. Thank you.